Hello, everybody. Today's lesson is going to be about how we format a Google Sheet. So you want to go into Canvas and find the document that is called Spreadsheet Formatting -master and open that up and then go ahead and make a copy, write your name in, and fill in the first page. When we're formatting a Google Sheet, what we're talking about is the appearance. And you want to have a nice appearance for your Google Sheet for a couple of reasons. One, it will help your thinking if you can have everything organized in a way that is visually appealing. And second, when you eventually pass your work on to a reader, that reader is going to be able to understand it much better if you know how to format your Google Sheet. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I'm going to pop through the tabs here. The first tab is about the width of the columns, and basically I want you to read this, then I want you to play around a little bit with the different things that you can do. So I'm not going to teach anything on this page. I'm going to leave you to read that. You can pause the video right now if you want and go ahead and read it on your own. But read that, mess around with this tab. Merge. You might have noticed that I've been merging cells throughout the last couple of lessons. For instance, if you look at the purple cell at the top of the page, this is the result of merging, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different cells together into one massive cell. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. You come down to the shaded region. I want you to highlight all of it. Remember that you do that just by holding down the Shift key and using the arrows. Now, I know I've told you not to touch the mouse, but this is a place where you're going to have to. And if you come up to our menu bar up here, you'll find an icon that looks like this, Select Merge Type. When you click on that, you'll have Merge All, Merge Horizontally, or Merge Vertically. In this case, we're going to merge all, meaning that we're going to take every single one of those cells and make it into one giant cell. And now, if I type something, it's just going to go into that one cell. So go ahead and type your name into it. Now I have this formatted so that it will end up right in the center of the image. And so let's talk about how we do that. To be exactly in the center of the image, it has to be centered in a left to right fashion and then in an up-down fashion. So if we come up to these icons right here, you've probably seen this one before because it's the same as Google Docs. This will justify it to the right or the left or the center. But we can also justify using this button right here, which will move our script to the top, the middle, or the bottom. Okay, so I would like you to take yours and move it to the lower, let's see, the lower left-hand corner. Stella, you want to say hi?
Hi.
Okay, let's move on. Borders, nothing that I'm going to talk about here, but borders are a really useful tool for making your work visually appealing. So I want you to read over that and then play around with this borders button here a little bit, okay? Wrapping the text. You have noticed that I have been using different wrapping options as we've been going through the last couple of days of Google Sheets, and I'm actually going to show you how to do that now. Let's click on this cell right here, which is a single cell that I have merged. And you can see that there's a lot of typing in it. If you come up to the text wrapping button, which is hanging out right, where is it hiding? Here it is. There are three options. Okay, there's the overflow, there's the wrap, and then there's the clip. And it's clipped right now. What clip means is that it will just display the amount of text that is available until it runs out of space, and then the rest of the text you won't be able to see. But if I choose wrap instead, watch what happens. It will change the width of that row so that it can display all of the text that is available. Okay, so there's that's a good thing that you can read all of it, but it is perhaps a bad thing in that it makes this row a little fatter than the rest of the rows. So there's like a give and take to all of these options. The other option that we have is called overflow. So I'm going to come down to this cell here in B13, and you can see that B13 is wrapped, meaning that it's designed so that you can see all of the text, and it will make the row wider in order to fit that text. There's another option called the overflow. If you click the overflow, what it's going to do is it is still going to display all of the text for you. However, it's going to keep rolling it into these other cells. Now, one thing that's really important for you to understand is that even though it appears that there is text in C13 and D13 and E13 and F13 and so on, if you look up here, you'll see that there's not actually anything happening in that cell. So for instance, I only have text in B13. It's only in that cell, but because I've selected the overflow, it is displaying it to overlap. Let's see what happens if I now type something into C13. I'm going to write a number. What's one of your favorite numbers, Stell? This is supposed to be an easy one. How about 12?
Sure.
So at the point where I type something into one of those cells, it now aborts this plan to have overflow, and it goes back to clipping. Last tab. On this tab, we're going to talk about how you can use keyboard shortcuts in order to do some work with highlighting, inserting, and deleting. For starters, I'm going to come on down here to, let's see, my buddy Sad Man Beauregard. What a great name, right, Stella?
Yeah, great name.
Okay, and let's suppose that I wanted to highlight the row that he's in. I could hold down the Shift button, and then I could hit the space bar. And you'll see that first it highlights those 3 cells, and then if I hit the space bar again, it highlights that entire row. Another thing that I could do is I could, let's suppose I wanted to highlight the column that has Sad Man in it. I could hold down the Control key and then hit the space bar. And if I hit it again, I get the whole column. Right. Now, I'm not sure exactly how often you're going to need to use that, but here's something that is going to come up fairly often. Let's suppose that Sad Man has a sister named Happy Lady, and we want to include her in our list of names and heights. So we can do this by hitting Control and then Alt and then the plus sign. And when you do that, you're going to get some options for inserting. Now it says insert cell and shift down. If I choose that, watch what happens. This time, all it did is it created a single cell in column A. And that's a problem because when it did that, suddenly none of the first names match up with the last names anymore. We don't want that. So let's hit Control Z. And then this time, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to hit Control, Alt, addition sign. And then we're going to choose Insert Row. And now we can put in, what did I call her? Happy Lady?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Happy Lady Beauregard, since they're brother and sister.
Right. I'm too lazy to write Beauregard, so I'm going to do Control, copy, and I'm going to come up here. And I'm going to paste. And then how tall is she? She's 14 inches tall. All right. Last thing I want to show you is, let's suppose we realize that I made all that up and we don't actually want Happy Lady in our data set because she's going to invalidate it. Also possibly an outlier if she's that short. We can get Google Sheets to delete this for us by doing a Control-Alt-. And same as last time, we now want to come to delete row 11. And that's the game.